Hey guys, no bullshit here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter 6. What I hope to see, what I expect to see, and yeah, just just try to speculate about this game because I've never actually done a video speculating about this game. Let's get into this. So there's a couple of topics I want to hit on what I expect and want to have. The thing is, the more I start to look at history and the more that my boy Wind kept telling me that some of the changes that you've seen in the Portable series, or the other series, we shouldn't expect in the main series, the more I'm kind of feeling a bit disappointed on the possibilities for Monster Hunter 6, because, for example, one of my top thing on my list that I want to see is things like arts and styles, or something Y-Bug related. It doesn't have to be Y-Bug, but some type of skill that allows him to do a special attack. It doesn't have to be so often as in Y-Bugs. It doesn't have to be as long apart as in GU, but it needs to be, something that I can have access to once in a while. So a special attack, I want to see something like that. I think it just, it just spices up the combat, it just makes things interesting. Of course, the way that balance is important, you got to really think about that. But I really want to see some stuff like that, because I think it just adds a lot of flavor to the game. I know that people said they want Monster Hunter to go back to basics, but I don't want to play Monster Hunter 3 again. I don't want to play Monster Hunter 4 again. I don't want to play, I don't even want to play the ones I didn't play, like Dose or 1. Like, I want amalgamation of the good parts of all of that. Like, I don't want to go back, and I don't want to keep on just poking 3 times with a lance, and that's all I do. I want to mix it up. So I'm hoping that we can keep on mixing it up, and that's one thing I loved about GU. You could play weapons in so many different styles, and it was fun because it was always different. It wasn't the same all the time. I think that's really important to me. So yeah, I definitely want to see something like that. I definitely want to see something like that come back. Now, the second one on my list is actually more hunting aspects. Now, what I mean by that, I mean, I want to see, I suppose, more of actual hunting features in the game. Like, I know people are saying that Rise took out some hunting features. It's not a hunting game, it's an action game. But no, to be honest, that's not true. Monster Hunter has never been a hunting game. You don't fully go track down proper monsters. You don't fully cut off their limbs and then that's it for the monster. The monster's dead. You don't worry about breeding the monsters and monster population. You don't worry about all of that stuff. It's like there's hints of it, but it's very lackluster, and it's very like low level. I want a bit more of just general hunting aspects in the actual proper hunting game I have. But of course, those hunting games don't have the features that Monster Hunter have, of course. What are those type of features? I don't think I want to be tracking monsters like all day. I think that'd be boring. But I think if we can see more about the monsters' habitats and their interests and what they do, and also trying to figure out, exploiting weaknesses of monsters need to be more important, stuff like that. I think that would be great. And I guess preparation, I guess that it all kind of adds into that. But I don't want it to take away from the gameplay. Definitely when it comes to the hunting part and tracking, I don't want it to be such a slog that when you fight a monster probably like 10 times or 20 times like we do in Monster Hunter, I don't have to do the same old tracking or hunting. Like, no, the first couple times, yeah, great, amazing. But once you start getting used to the game, I don't want to see that as much anymore. There needs to be some type of balance. Now, balance the Edemic life. Now, I love Edemic life. It was first mostly introduced in World. Rise elevated it to new levels. I want to see them, I want to see a more balance of them and a more richness in the life. Like, it was really cool that in some certain Edemic life only appear in certain areas, but I want them to appear, not in certain areas, but not always showing. Maybe at different times of day. Could we have a day and night system in the games? Maybe some only appear at day, maybe some appear at night. Maybe they roam about a bit in their area. They don't just stay at their same spot. Maybe that might mess up speedrunning, but I think that would be cool. You see that the Edemic life have their life of their own, and they're always just waiting for you to pick them up. A mix of the two would be good, somewhere in between. So just to allow it to feel lively. I don't think there's any too OP Edemic life in Rise or Sunbreak. I think there's some powerful ones, but they're not like so OP that you must have. So I don't think we need to really balance those much, but some of them aren't used that much though. Like the ones that flinch monsters and stuff like that, that's not really used. Maybe those ones need to be balanced a bit. Okay, the next one on my list: less old monsters and more new monsters. Now, this is a video I made a while ago where I talked about, I think, Sunbreak, not Sunbreak, sorry. I think this Monster Hunter in general, they don't really know when to bring back old monsters and new monsters. There's no like ritual, there's no like lore. monsters can come back anytime, which is fun and exciting. But then sometimes like monsters are always about, and it doesn't make it special. Like for example, Wajang came back in 4. He's been in GU, he's been in World, and now he's in Rise and Sunbreak. Like he's everywhere, and he's not really special anymore. He's not that monster that's like, oh, you know, you're scared of Wajang, because he's always there. You know, Devil Joe is another monster that was there since Try, and now they're taking him out, which is, I think, is actually cool, because in the next game it's going to be exciting to see, yo, he's back. Like, you know, the big boy's back. It's been like 5 years, and it's a bit of a problem, because some people they want to see their favorite monsters. Like, I want to see Legaicrus, you know, I want to see some of these my favorite monsters, you know, but we can't. There needs to be a balance between fan favorite monsters and bringing them back too much. Like, we can't just always bring back fan favorites all the time, because then they won't be fan favorites anymore. Like Zinogre, this cool monster. When I first seen him, he was amazing. He's been brought back in every single game since, and now people are kind of tired of him. People are tired of, you know, no offense, the flagships, you know, Tigrex, Naga, Cougar, they're just monsters now. Because we always see them, which is fine. I think some of them need to be staple, but I think they definitely need to think about adding more monsters now. Sunbreak probably added the least amount of new monsters than any monster in the game. I think we had 5. We have like Galgom, Lungaron, we have Malzeno, Geismagom. That's at least 4. There might be another one I'm missing, but I think that's pretty much it. Just 4 new monsters in comparison to other games where they might have had 10, they might have had, you know, 7, 8, 9. I will need to find the list later, but from our research, Sunbreak definitely had the least about new monsters in the expansion, and Base Rise did have a decent amount of new monsters actually, but none of them got subspecies, which is unfortunate. But that's not about this list. This is about new monsters, you know, this new experiences, new variations, and the less you bring back old monsters, the more interesting it is, because when you start bringing them back, people get excited. So yeah, I definitely want to see some. Next is larger rooms. Now I think this one's important. Back in the day, I didn't really think of this one being important, because I used to just play it by myself, but there are some people that do play with loads of people, and I don't see any negative really about larger rooms apart from latency and issues. But I think Capcom can figure that out. They just need to somehow figure out how to balance that better. But I think at least having 8 player rooms, 16 player rooms would be great, just to have a back tower was in World. It just allows, you know, larger communities to have everyone in one room, and people can just hunt with each other. Sometimes me and my friends, there's about 5 of us, or maybe more than that. I think there's 5 probably max, and you know, some of us are just playing by themselves in different rooms. It'll be cool if we can have everyone in just one room playing, or just, you know, just groups of people in one room. I guess it kind of adds to the emphasis that, you know, you're not just a small hunting party. Maybe there's, you know, there's other people hunting or their own stuff as well, even if it's random people. I guess that does kind of simulate some MMO light type of atmosphere into Monster Hunter. Is that if it's the greatest thing to feel that way? I don't know, but I think it just gives options to people who want larger rooms, right? I think there's not much negatives on just having that. Now this one is a big one for me: balancing skills and removing skills. Now there's a lot of skills I think that need balancing. Mostly the offensive ones. Some of them are way too powerful. Things like Witness Exploit is been crazy powerful since, I think, after 3U. It was okay in 3U, but after that, no, it got way too powerful. Like I think the way it worked in 3U, I think the way it worked was that you could only work on a destroyed part, and I think that would be great. It emphasizes, you know, even adding in destroyer and destroying parts to get more damage out of I think, not just, you know, you just hit a weak spot and you get more damage for hitting what you should be hitting. I think there needs to be balance in that. I think things like crit are so strong late game, not as strong early game. Attack is better early game because the way scaling works. The more attack you have, the more crit benefit you get. Which I guess that's just how, you know, maths work really, with percentages and flat numbers. But something there needs to change. There's a lot of utility skills that just aren't useful, and mostly because of the types of monsters as well. For example, in Rise, there's not many monsters that put blast in you, so blast phase doesn't really do much. There's like 2. There's like Teostra. Okay, now there's 3. Teostra, Bob, and Somnicanth. And Somnicanth doesn't do it that much, but the other 2, yeah, they do. But base Rise, it was only like 1.5. And then there's things like sleep. There's only like 1 sleep monster, which is wow. There's only like 1 sleep monster. Well, no, I guess 2. Yep, Somnicanth. So sleep res, it doesn't have that much impact. Like these skills don't have that much impact because there's not enough monsters variations to make these skills more viable. Paralysis, there's like one paralysis monster in Kezu. I guess Asklos also has it, but rarely. Like we need more types to really emphasize skills and skill play. And some skills definitely need to be removed. Some of the really some of the dumb ones that just don't work anymore. Like I guess in Rise, the sliding one, that I guess it worked in World because there was a lot of slopes, but in Rise there's not many slopes for your sliding affinity boost. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a fun one, but it doesn't really add too much. Earplugs in Rise, for example, is like a really bad skill because every weapon has a counter, pretty much. Actually, every weapon does have a counter, so there is no point of worrying about roars really, for the most point. And the fact that roars is a level 3 slot in Rise is baffling. Definitely considering its use case, like it doesn't make sense to me. That skill definitely needs some type of buff because it's just not it right now. Definitely in that game, maybe in future games it will be it. In past games it has been it, but not in Rise. So I definitely want them to think about when they're adding new features, how to balance the skills or old skills, be balanced for that. You know, things like Y-Bug Whisper is a cool skill, but I think the game didn't need it. I think allowing people to use more Y-Bugs doesn't really help out with the game. Balancing, definitely, I think that should have just not been a thing. So they really need to think about what skills they're going to add and what skills they're going to take away. Let me know down below what other skills you guys think is interesting to keep and wants to balance and remove. Post game. Now, post game in Monster Hunter is a new thing starting in World. World's post game, base World's post game was okay. We got the Arc Tempered, which was pretty cool. Quite controversial. A lot of people didn't like some of them. It was that half and half from what I've seen. Some people love them, some people hate them. I think they're pretty cool for the most part. No extra armor, extra fights. You know, it's just cool to have that. The cadence of it was decent. Base Rise didn't have a great post game, and that was mostly just because Apexes just didn't give armor and weapons. They did Rampage stuff, but they didn't have their own, which I think is the biggest problem with them. Apart from them, I think like the Apexes are great. Like overall, I love them, but it's just like the armor is lame, and the fact that the Apexes are just defense is coated red, which is strange. They should have just brought defense back. Like honestly, they should have just done that and called it a day. But I really want post game to be good. In this next game, they need to really think about how they want to do it. I didn't play much of Iceborne, to be honest. I kind of got bored, so I don't know about this post game. But you know, we got things like Fatalis, we got things like Electron, big boys, big famous boys. So that was good. Apart from that, not much else I can talk about. I mean, Namiel, Arc Tempered, and all that stuff. Sunbreak, we haven't had any new monsters, but we've had really cool old monsters come back, like Lucian. I've always wanted Lucian to come back. Still waiting for Molten Tigrex, but we haven't seen him. And it's like looking like we're not going to get him, which is fine, but still unfortunate. Flaming Espionage, we got some cool monsters. The Vision mechanic has been amazing, to be honest. I love the Vision fights. Vision Valstrux is probably one of the hardest fights in the whole series, to be honest. If like he is pretty damn insane. He is pretty damn insane. If they added that type of level monster in the old games, balancing around, you know, how the mechanics work, like it would have been a wrap. I'm just thinking about Vision Valstrax in base, in GU. No, oh my god, no, that would have been disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Considering that Valstrax has most of his moveset to GU version, it's just elevated a bit. Imagine if they just added Vision into that, that'd be crazy. But yeah, I want to see, you know, more new monsters and old monsters come back in these title updates, and you know, the cadence of Sunbreak has been really good. At first it was like every month, and now it's like every other month, which is cool, slowing down a bit, but it's just fine. The game came out a year ago, and now we're about to hit the year soon, and we're still getting a couple updates, so that's nice. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is events. I think this might be the last thing. I mean, I'll think about it after this. But events are very important, and I think the games need to really highlight them, because it's a bit weird that Sunbreak doesn't have any. It has events. Sunbreak has a lot of events, and Rise in the end had a lot of events, and these events actually give awards. People don't realize they give like skins, they give like layered armors and stuff. Maybe they don't give like weapons, but they give layered stuff, which is titles and stickers. If you're interested in that, sure. Apparently the Japanese community are really interested in stickers. Now, when it comes to actual weapons and armors, we don't really get any anymore, which is a shame. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, but the thing that I think that's bad is we don't get collabs anymore. Sunbreak has had no collabs, which is very strange. I don't understand why in the Rise era we had no collabs. It doesn't make sense to me. Are they cutting back on spending? I mean, the old games had collabs, World had collabs. I don't understand why Rise doesn't have collabs. It doesn't really make sense to me. But I'm hoping they come back, and I'm hoping they come back in full force, because there's so many collabs we could add with Nintendo, like Zelda, Metroid, F-Zero, Star Fox, all of the ones that we used to have. Super Mario Bros. Like, we used to have crazy ones. Even Pokemon, you know. I'm not sure that the dealings are more expensive now or whatever, but you know, Suffolk I think needs to be done, because it's just a shame, you know. It's definitely a big shame. And I guess, I don't know, maybe the last thing is just more than just hunting. I think like maybe adding a bit of spice every now and then of different stuff to do. But like maybe hunting is great, of course. Hunting should be the peak thing about Monster Hunter, and going out there and killing the monster. But maybe some more to do in the open world, you know, in areas. Just interesting activities, maybe some activities in the town, you know, just make things a bit more. It's not just okay, hunt and then hunt and hunt. There's a bit, you know, a bit of, you know, leeway, a bit of like intermediate before you hunt, stuff to do. You know, you have to get ready, you have to get ready your farm properly. It's not so I guess easy. Maybe making it difficult on purpose is a bad way to look at it, but you know, just a bit more engaging on the other features. I think that'd be cool. Not too much, because this game is primarily about, you know, fighting, and you don't want to force people to have to do all these extra stuff if they don't want to. That's what this series is known for, but just a bit of extra, you know, interesting mechanics every now and then would be cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think below. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.